This week we check out the ultimate in fan service as we chat to TT Games about LEGO Dimensions. Jonny chats with EA Sports about Madden NFL 17, which is due out this month. And Mike looks at the first game he ever played, ever, on the older than old school Atari 2600. This is Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this week let's start with something that we thought was a hoax but is very real. Ubisoft has designed its own VR system for South Park, the Fractured Butthole, and while the Oculus Rift is for your eyes, the Nautilus Rift is for your nose, because it simulates farts.
I just started playing the game when it came to my nose. I'd never felt anything so strong before. The fart stinks so real. Best immersive experience ever.
In South Park, the Fractured Butthole, you are playing the new kid in town and a hero, and one of your special abilities is really the power of your ass. The only way to really help people experience that strength is to really make sure that they can feel it, and that means getting really close.
Unfortunately for us, the Nautilus Rift has been produced in very limited quantities and is not for sale. We're told it's been developed as an exclusive experience for South Park, the Fractured Butthole during events, including this month's Gamescom. And speaking of Gamescom, we have that event to thank for this shiny new Battlefield 1 trailer, which was bundled up with a whole bunch of new information about the game. The most important bit is that the beta test for Battlefield 1 will kick off on August 31, a little bit earlier if you're a Battlefield insider. The developers also showed off more of this desert map, which will be featured in the beta, complete with that impressive armoured train, which we'd only seen before as concept art. Battlefield 1 is out for PC, PS4 and Xbox One on October 21st. In quick news, Australian team Chiefs are the Oceanic Pro League champions for League of Legends for the second year in a row, after defeating Legacy Esports in the grand final for the second year in a row. They're off to Brazil now to the wildcard qualifiers, vying for a space in this year's World Championships. The latest update for the Minecraft beta on Windows 10 has added support for both the Oculus Rift and an Xbox One controller, eliminating the need for mods or workarounds. It's still being perfected, but for now it breathes new life into the blocky sandbox. And while we're talking hardware, that stunning robot white 2TB Xbox One Model S is sold out, and it won't be coming back. If you want a console with that much hard drive space, you'll now need to pick up the Gears of War 4 Special Edition or snag a 1TB or 500GB version and attach your own external hard drive. We're also seeing more rumours swirling about Nintendo's new NX, with the most persistent one referring to the idea of detachable controllers. A patent has been filed which hints at an accessory that can be attached to a small screen, similar to the Wii U gamepad, that will turn the screen into its own controller. It's also kind of like the 3DS Circle Pad peripheral, so it's not a completely far-fetched idea, but we still have to wait and see if it's legit. We are, of course, already waiting and seeing for more console news from Sony, but we might not need to wait too long. Word on the street suggests that the PS4 Neo will not be revealed at Tokyo Game Show, instead being unveiled at a special PlayStation event in New York on September 7. And while everybody wants to know more about No Man's Sky, given that we've seen backlash to the hype, backlash to the backlash, and then backlash to the second lot of backlash, it feels like the moment that we report on it, the news will be out of date. Things are changing so fast that the tiny team at Hello Games has been struggling to keep up, but hopefully that's a thing of the past. A new QA team has been brought on board to help identify and squish bugs, which should make things run a bit smoother. One of the earliest jobs of the new team, fixing the game-breaking bug that affected gamers who pre-ordered their copy of No Man's Sky, which denied them the skill to build their own hyperdrive and the ability to properly explore the universe. Who knew getting a freebie ship could cause such a major problem? Moving on, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news again, but the closed beta for Gwent, the Witcher card game, has been delayed by about a month. CD Projekt Red has explained that they can only make a first impression once, and the team wants to make sure it is the best impression possible. Delivering a good game is more important to us than keeping a deadline, they say. So, the closed beta will now start on October 25, and if you want to be in with a chance to check it out, head to playgwent.com. And while we're on the topic, things are now confirmed. Final Fantasy 15 has been delayed by 2 months, and people are not happy about it. Game director Hajime Tabata has officially confirmed that Square Enix needs a little more time to polish the game, pushing the release out to November 29. The upside of all of this is that the content scheduled for the game's Day 1 patch will now be bundled onto the disc as well, meaning that fans who play Final Fantasy offline will get the ultimate quality version. To carry you over the extra 2 months, here's a little snippet of what you can expect from Final Fantasy 15, well, the soundtrack at least. British band Florence and the Machine have released a stunning collection of tracks to tie in with the game's release, working closely with developers to create 2 original songs and that breathtaking cover of Stand By Me that we heard in the March trailer. And if you are a big fan of gaming soundtracks, Spotify would like to offer you something. The online music streaming service has now added a gaming section, including your favourite game soundtracks and a selection of curated playlists. Whatever your mood or your taste in games, there is something to fit. From the sweeping 65 days of static accompaniment to No Man's Sky, to the bleeps and bloops of Anna Managuchi's soundtrack to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. There are the classics of the original Halo, the Simlish serenades of the early Sims games, and any number of Pokemon tunes, so you're covered. The gaming category is available for Spotify users across all platforms, including iOS, Android, desktop, PlayStation, and online. For more information on any of these stories, or to keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com. But for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.
I am here with Sean and Clint at E3 this year, and we're about to talk the one and only best game in the world, football. In Australia, football, not necessarily the biggest thing. What have you guys done to make it more accessible to everybody all over the world who isn't, say, American?
The last couple of years, we've tried to make it more accessible. We've put more UI into the game to try to teach you as you're playing it. The thing you're going to see this year is on the ball carrier. When you're running with the ball carrier, we're going to put UI prompts above him that will teach you some of the moves, the special moves that you can pull off in game. When you play on our lower skill levels, we're going to do those moves for you. So say you're running down the field with Adrian Peterson, one of the best backs in the game. We'll show you a button icon that says juke, and we'll do that move for you if you don't hit the button in time. So you see what that animation looks like. And over time, as you move up the skill levels, you'll start to learn the timing and the button options that are available to you. But in the early stages, when you're just starting out, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to get to have that full NFL experience right out of the box.
And for those that are coming in real blind, is there a system, a way of learning the rules on how the game works as well?
Absolutely. If you play Skills Trainer, which we've had for a couple years, and every year we add more and more depth to it, you can learn kind of the rules of football, some of the language. Like if you hear the a cover two, which is a style of defense, most people don't know what that is. If you go into our Skills Trainer environment first, that'll teach you some of the language and the rules of football.
But gameplay is always important as well. And Clint, you're my gameplay boy. Yes. What is brand new? What can we look forward to?
So in addition to the ball carrier moves that Sean talked about, we also upgraded our defense and special teams. On defense, we have new zone coverage concepts. So he mentioned cover two. We really went simulation style and tried to install a realistic NFL playbook this year on defense. So with those pattern matching is what we call them, our zone coverage guys are basically smarter. They're going to play more like you watch on Sundays when you watch the NFL. We upgraded run defense, so all of our defenders are aware of the gaps they have to cover to shut down the run. We also hit special teams this year. You can now block kicks. There's a block kick mechanic. There's a new kick meter, and there's even trick plays on special teams.
So you're mentioning that the game is a lot more clever. So if I get over enthusiastic and go for the sack and completely leave my position, can I rely on my D-boys to cover me?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's exactly where we're going. We wanted to make all of your teammates smarter so that you can focus on being a superstar of your defense.
So time to glory hug. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, he had mentioned the special moves before and the accessibility stuff. So we have an all-new system for ball carrier special moves. And they play to each player's strengths and weaknesses. So he mentioned Adrian Peterson. He's more of a power back. So you're going to do a lot more trucks and stiff arms with him. And a smaller back, you're going to do jukes and spins. And those things are all brand new animations with the new, we have new fake outs. And the mechanics that you're learning on the lower difficulty levels, that's how you pull those moves off. So in our franchise, we have Play the Moments, and this is a feature where you can simulate through parts of the game that you aren't really interested in playing and focus on playing the critical moments. Goal line, red zone, scoring plays, third downs. It's kind of a brainchild of the Red Zone channel, if you guys are familiar with that, where you watch the scoring plays in the NFL on Sunday. You can get through an entire season in a weekend. You can progress further into your franchise, get back to managing your roster, and go right back into another game.
So you've really focused on the quick and just get in and play fun of it now. The franchise mode, is it as deep as it has always been with crazy amounts of micromanagement?
Our franchise mode this year is as deep as we've had in a long time. There's a lot of additions. In addition to Play the Moment, we have a bottom line ticker that'll update you on the news around your league, the scores in the other games. We have new game plan feature. You can practice against your upcoming opponent's tendencies, and after you do that in the practice drill, you're going to get boosts in-game when you run those. So going back to what Sean said about running cover 2, if you practice cover 2 during the week to stop a tendency of your opponent, when you run cover 2 in the game, you're going to get some bonuses and extra boosts for doing that practice.
So it all really feeds back into that. You learn to play and you get rewarded for it.
Yeah, I think we made practicing fun and learning to play fun, specifically in franchise mode, because we look at the tendency, so we know what your opponent is doing, and then we've used our skills trainer environment that I mentioned earlier to go in and practice against that. And there's a nice, just kind of fun loop there where you kind of get access to all those skills trainers drills throughout the season, as opposed to have to go and do them in the front end and then just play them in a play now game. So it's a more fun way to learn both the sport and just the game of the NFL.
Now this may sound really, really not important, but it is. New commentary team. When you hear the same people say the same things a million times, this sounds exciting. So what do we got?
So we got 2 new guys. Brandon Gaudin is our play-by-play. He's a college football announcer, and then Charles Davis, who has broadcast locally on Fox here in the States. Both very experienced broadcasters, new voices, very NFL sounding. The big stories, we've had a lot of access made available to them. They're like part of our development team. They're actually here on site at EA Play for the last 3 days, meeting the fans and interacting. They sound incredible. I mean, I couldn't be more excited about where they're at right now in our game and where they're going to be when we ship and where they're going to be 2 years from now. We have a goal of making best-in-class commentary in sports, period. And we think we're off to a good start, so we can't wait for our fans to hear it.
And we got Gronk on the cover this year as well. Does that mean that if I'm having a franchise, just draft him because he's going to be unstoppable, right?
Gronk is always unstoppable, period. Yes, always draft Gronk. In an ultimate team in franchise, Gronk is always unstoppable. He's the best tight end in the league? Yeah, by far.
So he's coming to Minnesota is what you're saying. I feel it.
Minnesota. No, I don't think so. I don't think he's getting out of New England.
We'll see about that when my franchise takes him.
3 seconds left. The Broncos fighting for their playoff lives. The snap, hold, it's blocked. TJ Ward blocked it. And in the most improbable of ways, Denver is going to the playoffs.
What took you so long?
It's battle time! We are back with the fabulous Arthur. We are talking about LEGO Dimensions, which came out last year and revolutionized the entire world of Toys to Life gaming because people could do whatever they wanted with actual bricks and video games. And how's it all been going?
Well, the cool thing was last year, I wasn't actually on the game, so I saw the team in the office and Jimmy, my co-director on year 2, having a whale of a time. And then year 2, I'm like, well, I've just finished LEGO Marvel's Avengers. I want to kind of get in on this because it's really cool. And so year 2, we've gone like crazy big with IPs. IPs from like the 80s all the way up to now, Adventure Time, Goonies, Gremlins, E.T., Beetlejuice, Harry Potter. You can't have Harry Potter and I can't not work on Harry Potter. It's one of those love-hate things or love-love things anyway. But yeah, 16 new IPs, all of which still work with your year 1 starter pack. So you don't have to buy a new gamepad. It is that thing that we promised of no rules. Last year the statements were there's no rules. That starter pack's going to last you for the lifetime of Dimensions. And here we are, kind of like bringing that to fruition with loads of new stuff, loads of new game modes and Gizmo. A Lego Gizmo is just so cute. But yeah, it's great. It's great. Lego Dimensions is back with a bang.
I love the fact that you've been working on Lego games for a few years, and you're still so very excited about them.
Goonies, that's all I need to say, right? Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and Goonies. It's like I'm going to have like a team working with me on making Goonies into a Lego Dimensions level pack, and I'm so excited. A Sloth minifigure, getting to play as Data and Chunk and Mouth and Andy, and just so much fun. I think Goonies is probably even my top ever most favorite movie of all time, and to be able to work on that with the team in the office, that's why I'm excited.
Just in case someone out there hasn't heard about Lego Dimensions, we should probably touch very briefly on what it is and why this is so exciting.
Okay, so I'll go circle back a little bit. So Lego Dimensions is a Toys to Life game which allows you to play with any toys at any point, anywhere, and it is the ultimate mashup. So you get a starter pack, and in that starter pack you get Batman, Gandalf and Wildstyle and the Batmobile, but that is just the key to the rest of the game, because you can buy any of the accessory packs, and each one of those characters has their own unique abilities, has an adventure world, which is an open world play area, and the year 2 ones, the gold tags, you get a battle arena as well, or battle arena, I didn't enunciate my T's, and that allows you to play up to 4-player co-op, smashing each other to pieces into little bricks and then coming back and all the rest of it. But it's the ultimate mashup. There are no rules. For a Toys to Life game, you can take, Lord Voldemort in the DeLorean through Adventure Time. It's, it's just take your pick. It's so, just bonkers. It's brilliant.
And in a world where we've seen some Toys to Life games doing very well, and they've actually started branching out into different forms of media, we've also seen some Toys to Life games not doing so well, and they've since folded, which we all thought they would continue. Is it this amazing flexibility and mashupness that you think is key to longevity of Lego Dimensions?
Yeah, I think the great thing about Lego Dimensions and what's making it successful is that you're playing without rules. So, whatever accessory pack you buy, whatever toy you've got, you can use at any time. Secondly, the toy's a toy. It's not something that just sits there. It's like something you have to build, something that you can actually take and play with your other Lego sets, rebuilding and building things like the Ecto 1. So it is a real toy. And that gamepad from the starter pack is all you need, because you buy it once and once only, but it also has gameplay, moving around on the toy pad. I think there's so many things that makes Lego Dimensions a true Toys to Life game. And it is just, it's a sector that there are lots of options. And I'd hope that, if people haven't made that plunge into sort of the Toys to Life sector with Lego Dimensions, you're getting all the great humour and excitement and fun of a Lego video game in a Toys to Life game. And that's what's great.
And I mean, the other flip side of that is, if people haven't tried it yet, and if they're still a bit iffy about the actual gameplay bit, you can just buy them and have them sitting on your desk.
Well, there is also that. I actually bumped into someone earlier today that was just, I need to buy all of these. I was like, do you enjoy it? And he's like, no, because I don't have the starter pack. I just buy them from my desk. I was like, no, that is not the thing to do. It's like, buy it, play the game, and store them on your desk. So hopefully I've convinced him, because we had a battle in the 4-player battle arena, and he kind of enjoyed that. So fingers crossed he's also going to join the bandwagon.
Well, it is a very big bandwagon to join, and there are plenty of... I keep being distracted by all the various characters that are just hanging around. I mean, there's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Sonic the Hedgehog. That's how big it is. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, and Sonic. It's just, there is just so much in LEGO Dimensions Year 2 that builds on Year 1, where we already had Doctor Who and Back to the Future and Simpsons and all the other cool stuff. So yeah, LEGO Dimensions has just got bigger, and if you're not already in there, take the plunge.
I'm the Fantastic Beast!
Everyone has a first video game, and for me, it was this piece of crap. Smurf, Rescue in Gargamel's Castle. Welcome to the Videogame Shoebox. Gargamel has kidnapped Smurfette. Again. You're a Smurf. Not a particular Smurf like Papa or Brainy or Grouchy. Nope, you're just an unnamed Smurf, and it's up to you to brave the same 6 screens over and over again on your quest to save her. The idea is that you have to walk from the Smurf village through a forest and a cave on the way to Gargamel's castle, where Smurfette is patiently waiting rescue. Each time you complete a level and rescue Smurfette, you're reset back at the Smurf village again and must adventure forth once more. Because, Gargamel is a bit of a dick, and the Smurfs clearly have some security holes that they need to plug. Each trip, however, gets more and more perilous as the journey gets longer by simply repeating screens from the already limited pool, but with extra issues to avoid like snakes or bats. Being the Atari 2600, which wasn't exactly a powerhouse of a machine, even at the time, these levels become more and more tricky by virtue of the limitations of the hardware. Besides from the background, the Atari could only render 2 sprites at a time. This would normally mean you, miscellaneous Smurf, and a single obstruction such as a fence or a snake. The developers started getting ballsy though, and as the levels progressed, they started throwing more than one problem per screen at you. The technique is kind of disgusting though. Let's say you have to jump a fence. No problem. Fence jumped. But now we need to render a bat to throw at you, so you can't exactly take the player character off the screen, so away that fence goes. The problem here is that, even though the fence is not visually represented, it is still totally there. So if you screw up your approach to jump over the bat and have to back up a few spaces, the bat will disappear while you're mid-jump, the fence will reappear, and all obstructions will kill you instantly if you so much as land on them. I can only assume that sprained Smurf angles are not only easy, they're also deadly. The various obstacles must be precisely jumped over or landed upon. Failure to execute any jump results in instant death, because video games! Eventually, after journeying between Smurf Village and Gargamel's castle and rescuing Smurfette over and over and over again, I can only assume that the game ends and Gargamel gets bored of doing the same walk every day. I actually have no idea because I never came close to finishing as a child. I actually don't remember ever completing the first level. I do remember that bloody spider though. When I thought about featuring this particular game, I knew it was going to be one that took an emotional toll on me. Think about it, of all the thousands of video games that I've played over the years, this was my first one. What was it about this game that grabbed me? It certainly wasn't the Smurfs license. I really didn't care at the time. Yeah, a 3-year-old that didn't care about the Smurfs. I still don't. Sue me. It's definitely not because it was a great looking game, it was an Atari 2600 game, released in 1982. They all kinda looked the same. It wasn't the music, although an Atari game that had a music track was actually kind of rare, at least one that also had sound effects, limited as they were. The gameplay isn't exactly stellar, walk sideways, jump over stuff, win. Occasionally animals show up, jump over those, win. Again, this sort of simplicity was by no means hard to come by back on these old systems. It was all sort of par for the course, which was definitely a contributing factor to the big video games crash of 1983. All of these pieces come together to form a pretty standard early 80s licensed platformer. There wasn't anything particularly offensive about it, but nor was there anything special about it. Going back and playing this for the show, I have no issue in saying that I honestly have no idea what made this game so inviting to me. So inviting to the point that here I am 27 years later appearing on television talking about my favourite games that my favourite industry has produced over the years. hopefully sparking a few memories of your own about your own favourite games and your earliest memories involving them. It is certainly not the best game of 1982. Hell, it wasn't even the best game on the Atari 2600 in 1982. Far from it. But as the first piece of interactive computer-based entertainment that I saw and subsequently played, it still sticks in my brain as an incredibly important stepping stone of my life that helped me craft an identity during those easily influenced, sponge-like brain formative years. My life was changed forever by it. My life was changed forever by a fucking Smurfs game. That's it for this visit to the Video Game Shoebox. Join me next time when I'll be dusting off some more cartridges. Be sure to let me know in the comments or on Twitter any games that you'd like to see get a retro regression session on here. I've been Mike Nottridge, and I will see you next time. What's in your Video Game Shoebox?
And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, we've got a couple of big reviews for you. Mike didn't ask for this as he heads into the augmented future of Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, and we head off into the great unknown with a look at No Man's Sky. Early hype might have been squashed by naysayers, but how's it holding up? In the meantime, you can catch us at playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Also, if you want to support Player Attack, you can find us on Patreon and help us bring you the latest in gaming news, plus all these wonderful interviews and reviews from the world of video games. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.